Well, October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. More than 40,000 women here in the U.S. expected to die from breast cancer just this year. Dr. Jason Martens is here today to talk with us about the importance of getting your screenings and doing self-exams as well. So, Dr. Martens, welcome to the Noon Show.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you here for this very timely and really important topic. So last year, let's start with this. Governor Sid had that executive order in place, which put a pause on elective surgeries and some minor medical procedures, and that included mammograms. And that lasted through about mid-April. Then Hillcrest, who you're with, put an additional extension on that for 2 months. So that delayed some women last year. Do you think that had a big impact on the numbers of women that you saw coming in?
It sure did. Our last April, so April of 2020, our mammogram business was virtually nothing. And then as things started to ramp back up or open back up in the medical community, women were still a little hesitant to come to the hospital. It was a scary place. We were all kind of still wondering what was going on with the coronavirus. And then that started to delay the things that they would normally get, their screening mammograms, their pap smears, their colonoscopies. These cancer screenings were sometimes down 90% in some areas. And it really started to affect what we were seeing later when people started to come back 6, 12, 18 months later. These breast cancers were out of control and widespread and hard to treat.
Did this really impact rural areas or the metro area, or was it both areas that you saw an impact on?
It impacted everywhere. Coronavirus was a scary thing that made people kind of stay home, and we stayed home for our medical care too. We kind of put that on the back burner. And it didn't really matter where you lived, but rural and urban areas were affected very similar.
Okay, and talking about numbers right now, where we're at, we're almost done with 2021, just a couple months left to go.
Yes.
How are numbers comparing right now to where we were maybe a year ago in terms of what you're seeing?
So we're getting back to almost where we were before the pandemic as far as screening mammograms.
Okay.
The thing that's the most bothersome though is the grade 4 and grade 5 cancers, the bad end-stage cancers, are much higher than before we were in the pandemic because of those delays that happened in the pandemic in April and May of last year.
Can you talk about how much more that is, a specific, just ballpark figure?
So as I would say that they're up 20 to 30%. So when you're talking about being able to cure a breast cancer, you want to get a stage 1 or stage 2. Those others are going to be mainly just try to control that and hopefully get a few years out of it rather than actually cure it. So that's affecting, we're talking about, maybe 5 to 6 women a week that I'm seeing around the Hillcrest system. And it's pretty sad.
That's that high up.
Yeah.
And then are those women, I know we can't go into their history, but are those women who have typically delayed their screenings last year because of the pandemic?
Yes, they delayed a lot of medical care, and a lot of it was the elective screenings type stuff, yes.
And then how important is it to get in as soon as possible? These are supposed to be yearly screenings, because this, for some women, can mean life and death.
Exactly. And so the American Cancer Society and all of the professional societies recommend yearly mammograms after age 40, and that has never changed. If you have a family member, you want to get it a little earlier, but yearly mammograms, and that really, really decreases breast cancer being the advanced stage, and it also decreases deaths.
Okay. Dr. Martens, thank you so much. We're out of time, but we could keep going about this really for several minutes if we could. Hope to have you back soon talking about this. All right, thank you. Still ahead.